Hello and welcome to this session on Selenium Python beginner tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to use Selenium with Python, and we are going to go very basic. So if you do not know Python and it's your first time, you are a complete beginner, do not worry, we will go very basic step by step, and we will cover how to download Python on Windows, how to install Python, how do you install Selenium Python libraries, how to download IDE, which is PyCharm, that we will be using for writing our Selenium scripts. We will create a new project, we will add some Selenium scripts, and then we will run and validate. At the end, I will also share some useful tips with you. So let us begin. So step number one should be, step one is we have to download Python, and let us go to our browser, and I'm just going to say on Google download Python, and let us search, and we will get this site. Let us go here. I will also just copy this URL and make it available here, and all these notes you will find in the description below the videos. So let me go here, and now we have Python 3 and Python 2. So you can take the latest version of whatever Python is available at your time. However, I have found few compatibility issues with Selenium and Python 3, so I'm going to download Python 2 for now, and it will download an executable. As of now, I will cancel it because I already have it. And once you have downloaded it, step number 2 is you will install Python. So let me go to my Python installer, and here it is. So just double click here, and it will install Python for all users. Say next, and ideally it will go in C Python. So let it be, and click next and next, and it will start installing Python on your system. So it can take a few seconds to few minutes, and once this is done, you can click on finish. And now you can, to validate, you can go to your C. So let me just go to my C folder, and here you should get this Python 27. Now if you start command prompt on this particular location, I can directly go to this address bar and press CMD and enter. So this will start my command prompt on this location itself, and now I can say Python space hyphen hyphen version. This should show me the Python version, and if I go to the let me go to the lib, and let me go to, yeah, we have, yeah, let me go to scripts, and here again if I say pip space hyphen hyphen version, it is not recognized. But if I go to here scripts folder and start command prompt here, I will say pip space hyphen hyphen version, I should get the pip version as well, right? So pip is the installer manager for Python. It will help us install and manage all the packages. But you can see, if I go to a normal command prompt and go to any other location, if I say Python space hyphen hyphen version, or I say pip space hyphen hyphen version, I am not getting the Python version or the pip version which is installed. So for that, what I will have to do is I will have to set the environment variables. So let me exit from here and exit from here, and on my computers, go to right click and go to advanced system settings, environment variables, and here I will find an environment variable by the name path. Let me edit this, and on Windows 10 you get this kind of an interface, but even if you are using any earlier version of Windows, you can just add the Python library path at the end. So in case you are using the earlier versions of Windows, what you have to do is whatever text is available, you have to give, let us say there is some already text available, you have to give a semicolon and then add the Python path. So you will have this Python scripts, and then again give a semicolon and add this Python folder like this, and just save it. In my case, because I am using Windows 10, I can directly add it from here. I will say new, and I will just give the location of C Python 27, and again I will add one more path which is for the scripts folder. So these are the two things that you have to add here. I will again say new and add and OK and OK and OK, and now I can go to any location of my command prompt and say python space hyphen hyphen version or pip space hyphen hyphen version, and I should get this. So now I can use Python from any location on my system. So make sure you get these messages. I will also add these commands here. Step 2 will be install and check Python is Python and pip is installed successfully, and the commands are python space hyphen hyphen version on the command prompt and pip space hyphen hyphen version. So you can run these commands before installing as well, and you should get something like command not found if Python is not installed, and then after installing you can again check. This should give you these valid results, and this should show you the version of Python and pip on your system. And now we have Python ready. Now the next step is we have to install Selenium Python libraries. So for that you can run a simple command for pip, which is pip install -u Selenium. So let us run this command on our command prompt. I will go to my command prompt and say pip install -u Selenium and just run this, and it will take the latest Selenium package for Python and it will add the libraries, and you can see it has installed Selenium 3.5.0. To verify this is the latest one, you can also go to the Selenium website, which is seleniumhq.org, and here if you go to downloads, you can see this is the latest version 3.5.3, and in our case also Python has installed the latest version. And also to verify, you can again go to your C and wherever your Python is. So in my case it is C Python 27, and now if you see you will have this Selenium folder, and also it should be inside let me go to my lib and site packages, and you can see this Selenium 3.5 is now here. So that means Selenium libraries are successfully added, and let us see what is the next step. And now we have to download some IDE for creating our Selenium scripts. So for Python we can say we can download PyCharm. So let me just go to the browser and say download PyCharm, and you will get here. So here you will see this is a professional edition which is paid, but it has a free trial. But we also have a community edition for PyCharm, and you can download this one. So just download this. So for now I will just cancel this download because I already have it, and let me show you. I have this PyCharm community edition, and I will just run the installer now. So you can say next, and then you can select the bit size. So in my case I have 64-bit operating system. Also you can go and check. So you can go to your my computer, do a right click, go to properties, and here you can get all the details. So I have a 64-bit operating system, so I'm going to select the 64-bit. You can also get both if you want, and then just go to next and click on install. So it will install the PyCharm IDE on your system. So this will take some time, a few minutes maybe, and once this is done we will have our PyCharm on our system. So now this is done, and you can select to run PyCharm Community Edition as well and say finish, and it will open PyCharm. So I'm saying do not import anything and say OK, and let us wait for PyCharm to get started. So now here see it gives us some options as well. So you can say click to preview, and you can select whatever editors and fonts you want. So you can select like whatever uh, these kind of editors you want. So I will go with default and I will just say OK, and now you can just create a new project here. So before we do that, let me just write down the steps as well. So our step number 3 was install Selenium libraries using this command, and then we downloaded PyCharm. And let me also add the link to this. In fact, I should add this link, and this is very easy to use. I will just show you how. So this is the step number 4. Step 4 is download PyCharm, and this is the community edition, and this is the link. And now step number 5 is we have to create new project in PyCharm. So let us do that. So I will just click on create new project, and here it is asking me to give the project name. So I will say this is first Selenium test, and if you see here it shows us the option to select the interpreter. So as of now I have just this Python version on my system and it is already selecting it. So I will just say create. So you can see it will create the project. It will also show you some tips. You can go through it. It will be very useful. But here you can see we have our project created. So this is our Selenium Python project. And now let us go to the next step, which is we have to add Selenium script. So this is step number 6, adding Selenium scripts to the project. Okay, so let us do that. So here you can see you can do a right click on this project, and then you can go to new, and then you can add any of these options. So what I have to do is I have to actually add a Python file, but before I do that I will actually add a directory, and I will just name this as test. So the only thing that I'm doing this is for so that I can manage my tests separately in a folder. So this is a good practice. You can manage all your, you can put all your tests in a separate folder, all your libraries in a separate folder, and the other things accordingly. So now I will do a right click on this directory which is test, and now I will say new Python file, and here I will say this is, let us say, test number 1, and say OK. And now we have got this IDE which is ready for us to create our Selenium scripts. So the first thing we have to do is we have to import Selenium, and it will give you the options directly. So you can see this is very interactive. I will just select Selenium, and you can see it is taking it from C, Python 27, lib, site packages that I already showed you. And from here, in fact, you have to say from Selenium we have to import WebDriver. So we are going to have WebDriver which will be used, and as of now you can see this is all grayed out because this library is not used anywhere. So let me also go and go to the settings, and let me go to the editor, and let me go to fonts and give some high sized font so that you can see everything. I will say OK. Okay, now it is better. And now I will say, so you can say here driver equals WebDriver dot, and you can select any browser. So let me say I want to test it on Chrome, so you can say Chrome. And in case you want to test it with any other driver, you can say driver dot WebDriver dot Firefox, or driver equals WebDriver dot let us say IE, and we will see how exactly to do in all these browsers. And then you can say driver dot set page load timeouts. So it is very intuitive. You can just select this and just add any number of seconds. So this is the page load timeout, and in Python it is very easy. You do not have to write multiple statements like in Java. It is very straightforward. Also, if you want to comment out something, you can put a hash or add, or you can press control and the forward slash on your keyboard. It will comment it out. So you can do like this. And if you want to write a simple print statement, you can say print, and you can say hello world, and you can do a right click and run the test, and it will print hello world. You can say a equals 10, b equals 20, and c equals a plus b, and then you can say print c, and let us run it again. Right click and then run the test, and you can see this is the outcome. And suppose I want to change it to decimal, I will say 10.20, and I will say this is as 20.10. And now see, I have not declared which is int, which is float, which is decimal like in Java. I have just changed it, and it should take it by default. So I will run it now, and you can see the result as 30.3. So it has converted everything itself. It has converted C as a decimal number. So I do not have to do anything. So Python is very easy and very straightforward. Let us come back to our Selenium script. So for now, let me just uncomment the Chrome browser, and now here you can say driver.setPage timeout 10, and then you can say driver.get, and here you can add the URL. So in our case, let us go to Google. Let me go here. So I will just say http google.com, and here I want to add, let us say I want to find the element, this search box. So I can do a right click, I will do inspect, and you can see these are all the properties, and you can see the name is queue here. So I will just say find driver dot find element, and you can see all these options. You can find by CSS, ID, link, text, name. So I will select name, and I will say queue, and then I can say dot send keys, and whatever text you want to type, I will say automation step by step, and then I have to click on the search button. So let me also again go and see what is the name for the search button. I will say inspect, and I can see the name as this. So I will just copy it here, and I will say driver dot find element again by name, and this is the name, and I will say this time dot click. So these are all the options. As soon as you will do a dot here, you will get all the Selenium options of what all you can do, right? So this time I would just want to click this button, so I will say click, and then I will say so I can also say I can wait for some time, so I can say time. For that I will have to import the time libraries. I will say import time, and time dot I can say sleep, and I want to sleep for 4 seconds, and then I will finally close it. So I can say that driver dot close, or I can also say driver dot quit. Okay, so this should run my Selenium test, which will set the page load timeouts as 10 seconds, go to this google.com, set automation step by step in the search box, and then click on the button, wait for 4 seconds and then quit. And let us try to run this. I will say run, and you can say there is some error. Okay, and the problem is we do not have the chrome driver exe. So what I'm going to do is, let us go to our browser and let us just go to selenium hq.org, and here let me go to downloads, and here if you go down, you have these third-party drivers where we have Mozilla Gecko driver for Firefox and we have Chrome driver. So let me take both of these. I will take the Gecko driver from here, and this is the latest version. So I will download the one for Windows. So I will download this one, and then let me also take the Chrome driver, and the latest version for my time is 2.32, so you can take whatever the latest version you have. And again I will take the Windows version, and let me also take the Internet Explorer. So let me just search for where is the Explorer. So yes, we have this here, and you can take the 32-bit or the 64-bit. I have found that 32-bit is more stable even if you are working on 64-bit operating system, so I will take it here. So we have got all these here. Let me just go and show in folder. So these are the three drivers that we have got. Let me just unzip them. Okay, so we have all these drivers. So what I'm going to do here is, I will just add another folder called library, or I will just name it as, I can name it as drivers and say okay, and I will add all these drivers here. So I will say this is Chrome. I will just copy and paste it here, chrome.exe. Similarly, I will add the Gecko driver for Firefox. I will just paste it here, and similarly for IE. Yes. So now I have got all these drivers here. So here I have to tell uh, WebDriver or Selenium libraries that from where you have to take the executables for this Chrome driver. So I will just do a right click and say copy path, and I can provide this path now here. Okay, so I can provide this here, and let me run it now, run the test. Okay, there is some issue. It is saying driver.set page load timeout has some issues. Let me just test it. Okay, so I think it is an indentation problem. So what I'm going to do is, I will just select everything and press Control Shift Alt plus L on my keyboard, uh, and I will say run, and I think it is okay now. So let me just run and test it again. So this should run my test on a Chrome browser. So yes, the Chrome browser is opening up. It's adding automation step by step, and it should be testing it now. So yes, it did not click on the submit button because it cannot find it, because it is getting overlapped by this text. But yes, now I think it is running. So what we can do here is, we can add the keys libraries from selenium.webdriver.common.keys, and I will import keys from here. And now instead of click, I can say send keys dot enter. So I'm just adding this automation step by step and click on enter. So let me now run this. So this should open our Chrome browser, and it will add the text and hit enter, and yes, now it is running fine. and it will now close. So we can also test this on other browsers. So let me do this. So let us now test with other drivers. So similarly, I can say driver equals webdriver.ie, and here I have to give the location for IE driver. So I have to give this location. I can copy path and paste it here. And one thing that we can do is, because this drivers folder is within our project, we do not have to give the absolute path. I can go to uh, my project by just double dots and then go to drivers and have this exe, and the same thing I can do with here as well. So I do not have to give the entire path. And now I will just comment this out, and let me also comment this out so that I just want to check if this is working fine on IE. I will do a right click, run test, and allow access. For the first time it might ask you, and yes, it has opened our Internet Explorer. And let us see if it goes to google.com. It's taking some time, so let me just close this and comment out the driver dot set page time load timeout and run it again. And yes, now it is running fine. So it is going to google.com and it is running fine now. So let me just comment this out. I will uncomment the Chrome part, and all these things I will uncomment. So now you can use any of your Selenium actions. You can say driver dot maximize window, you can say driver dot refresh and anything. So and you can test it, you can just run it from here, run the test. It will do all these things. So it has opened our Chrome browser, it will go to google.com, and now it should maximize the window, and you can see it's maximized, it's refreshed, and then it will finally, after 4 seconds, it will close this window. So this is running fine. And here you can say print test completed successfully. Okay, now how do you run this from command line? So in your project you will have to run this from command line as well. So what you can do is, you can just copy the location of this file. So let me just copy this path, and then you can go to your command prompt and you can go to this location. So I'm going to test folder, and now you can say Python and the name of your Python file and say enter, and this should start your test. So this is how you can run it from command line as well. So this will now maximize it, refresh it, wait for 4 seconds, and then finally execute it, and then you can see test completed successfully. So this is how you can run it. So I will add step number 7 here, run from IDE, and then also you can run from command line. So this is how you can add your project, add your Selenium scripts, and run from IDE as well as from command line. Let us see some useful tips. So if you go to your project, you can see we have added all these drivers here, right? And that is why we have to give this driver uh, exe location here as well. Suppose I do not add it here, let me just add this to our Python 27, and I will just go to, maybe I can go to lib and I can add it here, and you can see I have added the Chrome driver here. So now I have added my Chrome driver in the library folder, and even if I do not give this location and try to run it, let me see if I can run it now. I will have to take it from here. Maybe I can give it inside Python 27 and try to run it. And yes, you can see I have not given the location of the Chrome driver, but it is still taking it from this folder. So you can add your drivers in this folder. Also you can add it in I think the libs folder as well. It should take it from here as well, so you do not have to give the location of all your uh, browser exe. However, if you want to take this project to some other location, then this might break because the location may be somewhere else and it might not recognize it. The browser libraries might not be there, so it is a good practice to add it here within the project. So you can just add these here and give the location here as we have done it earlier, and this should work fine. Okay, the other useful tip is, if you go to your PyCharm file and you can go to settings and you can go to build execute deployment and click on console. Here if you go to console, let me just say Python console, and here you can see Python interpreter, and here you can see the Python which it is using on your system. So as of now we just have this particular Python 27, but in case you have multiple Python versions and you want it to be run with some other Python version, you can do this here, you can add it here. Also, if you go to your file and you go to settings, and then if you go to your project, so this is first Selenium test, my project, and I go to project interpreter. Again here I can select the Python version per project. So suppose I am having a new project that I want to use with Python 3, I can select it here, and also I can see all the other libraries that are added on this project. So this is how I can manage projects with multiple Python versions on the same system. So this is how we get started with Selenium Python. In this one video we have learned all the basics to get you started. I will have some more videos on some other features. Thank you.